This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet?
Now, yeah,
Yes,
now it's
No, it's okay. So basically what we have done is that we have just created a database, okay, on the name of a SQL demo, okay, in the SQL server. And on top of that, if you right click on this and go to the new query so that you can connect to the database, this part is known to you, right?
yes.
That's great. So, and basically we are working with most of the tables. So out of that, one table is there, which is sales order table. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Once I finish up this class, now I will show you how to upload this sales order table to your data model, so that you
Mm,
can work with this table, because this data is quite a good amount of data we have here. Okay. So if I run this, so I have huge amount of data. This is just a superset data, but I will let you know how to upload this data into SQL Server. So I have an Excel file or the CSV file, whatever may be, through
mm,
which I can upload into the SQL Server. Okay. So before creating anything. Okay. So that's fine. So today we will discuss about the constraints. Let's take. So you know the how to write and all. Okay. So constraints. So constraints, what you mean by constraints is something like the rules or the protocols. Okay. Very basic example, anywhere you go, right? Suppose you are going to an examination center, right? There are some certain rules you need to follow, right? Either you need to get your admit card and you need to have your ID proof, right? And once you get into that, you need to have some seat arrangements will be there based on your name. So those are the all the rules which you need to follow in every aspect of our life, right? Whenever you are working for a company, right? So there are certain rules we need to follow. We can't go beyond that, right? So all these things are nothing but a protocol.
mm,
Same thing lies in case of database also. So whenever you are creating the table or inserting the table data into this, right? So basically we need to consider certain things, that we need to, it should be part of like this. So those are the constraint, I can say, logically in a database. Okay. So there are multiple constraints are available. So we'll discuss one by one. So in this case, we'll create a table itself only and we'll work with that table, saying that okay, how to work on this, all these things, right? The first constraint which I was talking about, it's about not null. Okay. What will
excuse me,
mean
sir.
by not? Good.
Sir, can you make it bigger? Can you
Which one?
maximize this screen? The screen?
The
It's coming
screen, I
very
don't think so.
small window.
It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yes,
fine
sir.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 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 So this is, or the first constraint which we will discuss about is the not null. Okay. So where first next question would be like where you will define your constraints. So defining constraints is always when you are defining your table. So whenever you are creating your table, that time only we will define the constraints. Okay. So certain rules. So how to create the table? I'll give the syntax to you now. So table would be something like create. Okay, then it will be table. So create is the keyword, table is a keyword, then space, then you need to give a table name, anything. Okay, so let's take, I'm giving a sample table, sample constraint, something like that, constraint underscore them. So anything, and this name, okay, this name should be like, if you want to give a space, you can do it, but always follow a standard like without space or underscore, something like that. Okay. I'll show you how to give the space in SQL Server, but right now I'm just doing this like this. Then it should be a open braces and the closing braces here. And in between, you need to define your columns. Okay. So basically, I just want to create two, or rather, I can say three columns here. Okay. So I say first column in this table would be my ID. So this is my column name which I want to put it. Okay. Then space you need to give. Then you need to give the what kind of data it will store. So ID will store a character kind of things, or it will store numbers, or it will store what, that you need to define first. Okay. So in case of ID, if it is number kind of things, right? If you want to store the numbers, then the
Mm.
data type for the SQL Server it will be int,
Mm.
integer.
Mm.
Okay, got it. Then comma, enter next column. Suppose you want to give any other column here. Okay, so I say name, then it will be the character type, like the alphabets will come into picture.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
time we need to give the character. Okay.
Mm.
So the
Mm.
character data type is, do we have two character data type in SQL Server? One is the char. Okay. Char is
Mm.
something like it's a single character, like like A, B, C, D, or single character you want to store. If you want to
Mm.
store a multiple characters, the data type will be varchar. Okay. And in case of varchar, you need to give the size. Size in the sense, if I give 100 now, so what will happen is this name, the column, right? It will store 100 characters. That's it, 100 characters. It is beyond that, it will not store. Along with the space, okay? Suppose you have a name A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H space I, J, K, L, M, N, right? So all the contents like A to M, along with the space, it will count that and it will consider as a name. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and if you are not sure, like in this case, name is 100. I completely agree. Sometimes what happens is whenever you are creating the table, you are not sure that how many characters it will come out. It could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 1000. Let's take an example. We are not sure. So here, if you are not sure, right, you can give a max directly. So if you are not sure, we can give max directly. So it will take any max characters. Doesn't matter now. Got it?
So one question. If you give 100, it means like irrespective if your data is just holds like a 10 letters or like 20, it
100
will
characters.
get a 100 a space of 100 bytes, right?
100 characters. 100
Yes. If
characters. Yes.
yes, if it is max, it will just allocate based upon our input.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's that's correct. But this max, no, just give
Mm,
as per your requirement. It's not like blindly we will give it max.
mm,
It's
mm,
like name character we can't give max here because we know maximum 30 hard to hard, or all over the globe it will be maximum to 30 35, not beyond that. Yeah.
okay.
So depends like what are the columns you are working, because max means again it will consume some space in the while creating, right? So
Mm,
performance wise everything. So you need to understand everything and you need to give it. So in this case, let's we are doing a demo. I'm just giving a 30 here. Okay.
mm,
Then let's take another column I have as a salary. Something like that. Okay. Then I will give int. So this is the basic syntax of a creating a table. Okay. Create table, table name. Then you need to give the column names with their data types. Okay. Now you can ask me that where I need to I need to like in my mouth only all the data types should be there. No, it's not, it's not required. Like what are the data types we have in the SQL server, it's not required to like remember everything. And that to be when you are working on a data analyst project or any kind of real-time project, right? Unless you are a DBA, we will not have the access to create the table also. Okay,
Mhm.
the creating table is not in our job at all because the table will be already created. And if you are again you want to create a table, that you need to request that to the database team always. So there will be another team that is called the database administrator, the DBA. Those are the people only they will create a table. Okay,
Mhm.
we never, but we should know the syntax. That's it.
Okay.
Got the point here?
Yes.
Clarity?
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We should not. So we should not bother much about the creating table, but we should know the syntax, how to create the table, how to insert it, how to update it. It is required, but we should not focus more on this area. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Fine. So now I'm talking about the constraints here. So whenever you are creating the table, like this is the basic syntax. So after your data type is defined, okay, after your data type is defined, so you can put some constraints here. So let's take name varchar 30. After the data type declaration, I can put some constraint names. So in this case, let's take I put
No.
not null after that. So what does it mean? Let me create it, and while inserting only it will come up. Okay, let me create this, execute it. So now commands complete successfully. It means that my table got created. Let's see where is my table in this database. It should be there, right? So let me just refresh this, and not yet. It. Let me again refresh this. Yeah, see now the simple constraint demo got created. Okay, and here basically if you see the DBO dot simple constraint demo, right? It is coming. Did I specify DBO here? No, right? But it is coming DBO. So the DBO stands for the database object, and this is the default schema of the SQL Server. Okay.
Mm.
So what is a schema? Schema in the sense something like if you just take a hierarchy, right? So this is your database, whatever you
Mm.
created, SQL demo.
Mm.
Inside that, any kind of schema can be available, and this is a real-time scenario. So you are connecting to a database. That database contain different sets of tables. It can
Mm.
contain sales related table, it can contain HR related table, it can contain finance related table. Okay, but
Mm.
you should not have access to all the things, right? It is not advisable because if you are working for a sales project, what you will do with the finance table? That is like more sensitive data, right? So you will not have the access to that time. What they will do is that they will create some schema inside the database itself. So if you are working for a sales project, then you will have access to the sales schema, sales dot that one. And if you are working for a finance, you will get the finance. And how you can see what are the schemas we have available here? We'll go to the securities here on the database, right? That is a security folder is there. And if you scroll down the schema here, so these are the schemas, and this DB, all these things, right? These are
Mhm.
default to the SQL Server installation. We never created this, okay? And few schema which I created here, but I will show you after this, like how to create a schema also and fetch along with that we can fetch it, okay?
Okay.
So let's understand first how we created this. Now I want to insert some data into this table. So the statement would be insert into, then my table name, okay? Then I can say the values. This is the syntax. Insert into my table name, then the values. Then we need to provide the values by separated by column, comma. And here the order is important. What is the order you have defined? So ID first, then name, then salary. Okay. That order is quite important whenever you are inserting the data. So
Mm.
let's take, I inserted one, then I say ABC. This is my name. Okay. Then I say 2000. So this is the one record. Just give me a second. Sorry. So now if we insert this record, right? So we are inserting one row to the table. So one row got affected. Okay. So this is the fine. So now if I want to see the data now, you know that, right? Select star from my table. Right. So this is the select state. So I will get to one record here, one ABC 2000. So now if I insert one more rows here, let me insert one more here, copy, paste. So let's take, this is my 2, this is my XYZ, and this is 3000. Okay, so if I insert now, it will get inserted 2 records. Now my table holds 2 records. Okay, got it? So now see the action for the not null. So what is saying that name is in a not null. We are given a constraint, right? So try to insert a column here. Okay, so one more way we can insert the statement is something like this. So insert into, okay, table name. Then if you give the values, right, you are bound to give all the columns value. If you give in like this. One more way to write the insert statement is insert into table name. Then in the comma, first you need to provide the column name, which are the column I want to insert. Okay. So let's take ID. Then I say salary. These are the two columns only I want to insert it. That's it. Then I can say values. Then it will take you the values of these two. So you just see the basic difference between these two syntax. So insert into table name values means you will bound to give all the columns. Okay, all the columns from the table. Suppose you want to insert only two specific columns here. So there will be insert into table name. Inside that you need to put the column name for which you want to insert it. Then values, then we can give it. Okay. But here, if we're trying to give it like this, so let's see what is the error you are getting here. I have 3 columns. I'm inserting for 2 columns. Okay. So if you see this error, what is saying that this is the important line here. Column doesn't allow nulls. For which column? The name column.
Name.
Right? Because the name we define as not null.
No.
So
Oh.
for that, we need to give the value. Okay. At any cost, we need to give the value for the name. Otherwise, insert will not work out. But other columns can be null. Let's try that. Okay. So I am giving ID, comma, name, because name anyway I need to keep it. Okay. So I say 3 and let's take DEF. So and now I'm giving the record data for ID and name. But I'm not giving data for the salary, right? It will take it. This will take it. See, one row got affected, and for the third row, the salary column will be null.
Null.
Okay,
Oh.
got the point here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is about your not null. Okay, and next one, I just want to same process, right? Suppose what you have done. Let's go to the next step here. This part is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's create one more SQL simple constant demo 1. So what I have done is that last time what I did, after we take the column name, then the data type, then we define the not null here. Suppose what happened is we have not defined anything while creating the table. Okay, we created the table and we didn't define any constraint on this table. Let's create it. And now you realize that after creating this, you realize that I forgot to add the constraint to this column on this table. Okay, that is the scenario. Got the point? So after creating the table, we realized that the name column should not be null for this table. Okay, so that brings to another statement in SQL is called your alter, which will modify the subject line, or the, I can say, the structure of the table. Okay, so here I want to add now a constraint to the table. So the syntax would be alter, okay, table, then I can say my table name, okay, add what I want to add. So this will work. Alter can be add. There are three ways to alter. Okay. First is add any new column. Suppose you want to add any new column. Modify existing data type for the column. Third is the add constraints. Okay. Add constraints. Okay. So these are the three areas the alter command will be get executed. Okay. So a slow in the sense I'll explain you. Suppose you want to add a new column to this existing table. Okay. So I will say alter table name add, then I can say any column name. Suppose let's take vendor. This is the new column. Okay. New column. Then you need to give the data type for this. Okay. Vendor varchar, let's say 250. Then if you executed this now, I'm not executing right now, but if you executed this, one more column. How many columns I define? ID, name, and salary, right? On this table.
Yeah.
It will add another column as called the vendor. This is the statement. Alter table name, add you want to do. Okay. Let's take one more way. The first part is clear, add any new column.
Yes, sir.
Second part is modify the existing data type. In the sense, suppose what happen is while defining the table, right, we saw that name I've given the varchar as 30. Okay. And later you realize that it should not be 30, it could be 50 or 100 somehow. I forgot that. So that also you can do that. So how the statement would be? The next statement, the modify one will be something like this. Alter table name, then you can say alter. Instead of doing add, you can say alter, then you can say name, varchar 60. Let's take. Okay, so this is the statement. Alter table name, alter, then column name, then your data type. So this will be changes the data type of the existing column. Okay, got it? So this is add and alter. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, but our scenario is we need to create or the add constraint because already I defined. So these are the two steps. You can execute, you can try it out. This one, this will work. Okay, no worries. Now, how to add the constraints to an existing third part? Okay, so this is my table. Now, alter table name, then add. This time, the last time I say add column, right? So this time I say or add constraint. There is a keyword called constraint. Constraint. Add constraint. Okay. Then, but this time, if you see this on the top right, when I'm defining the name of this constraint, right? Do I specify any name? Only I specified the name of the column. For the constraint, I don't have any name. But if you see when we are inserting a null records, right? Let me show you that. Just give me a second. let's take, you are giving a null constraint to the name on the first table. So this one. So if we are inserting to this, right, the name is null, right? So there is a name is coming. If you see here, this one, this one, sample const demo, something is there, right? And it is evaluating for the name column, right? This name we didn't define actually while creating up the table. So whenever the constraint is getting defined in a table, right, the SQL Server automatically take in name. Some name it will take automatically. And that is not compulsory when you are defining the constraint while creating the table itself. That is not compulsory. Okay. But when you create already, the table is already created, and that again you are just applying or you are just adding a constraint to the table, that time the name is compulsory, because alter table name, add constraint, then you need to give a name to that constraint. Okay, got the point?
Yes.
Okay, so here let's take, I want to give a not null constraint to the name, right? So something like I can say name underscore not underscore null, something like that, the name. Okay, be specific on this constraint name. Okay, then we need to give the column name for which you want to give it. So I will say inside that I will say my name, right? So if I execute this, let's, what is the wrong in this, alter table name, add constraint name, inside that this only. Yeah, let's try to execute this. Yeah, let me execute it. Hmm, I will
Sir,
not
actually,
take the bracket.
we
Go
have
ahead.
added name not null. It is just a name, right? Name for a constraint. So what
Mm-hmm.
constraint we have added here?
Sorry, come again.
Actually, you have given add constraint, and name not null is a name of a constraint, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, got it. I got it. Mm. So the constraint should be there. Yeah, got it. Sorry. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay. Yeah. Mm, add constraint name that not null. Then I'm giving the column name only. This is correct. Let's try. Hmm, strange. Let's see. Not null. Is there something not null will not take in the alter? Hmm, okay. What happened here? Not. Not. No. Hmm. Incorrect syntax. The syntax only. That's correct, but this is a surprise for me. Okay, but anyway, I will show you another constraint which the same syntax will work. But maybe the not null is not taking in the alter or not. I need to cross check the SQL Server demo here in the sense the documentation whether we can not null cannot be defined in the alter or something. Let's see. But okay, anyway, so this same thing I'll create another one. So the next constraint I want to discuss is called a unique constraint. Let's see that. That will work out. So unique constraint is something like, uh, suppose uh, I want to specify a uniqueness to the column. So something like it will be not null, okay, and not duplicated. and not duplicate. So this is the behavior of the unique. Okay, so that's the behavior of your unique columns here. So unique is something like it should not be not null and not duplicated. Okay, so how to define a uniqueness to this? So let's take on the ID column on this table itself. On the ID column, I want to give a unique constraint. So I already created a table already. Okay, but on the ID, I want to say I want to define a unique constraint. So same way I will do it here. I say unique underscore ID. Okay, I will say unique underscore ID. Instead of the not null, right? I will say unique. Then I can say ID. Okay, so this is the unique constraint. Now, if you see this is working. I think I need to check that whether the not null can be declared in the alter statement or not. That I need to cross check. But other constraint, it will work like this only. The alter table name, add constraint name. Then you need to define your the constraint name, then the column. Make sense now? Are you there?
Sir, can you explain this syntax once again? It's add constraints, and this
Add
is.
constraint. This is the
Hmm.
name of the constraint, then the constraint type, then inside that the column. For which column you want to give the constraint. Okay?
Hmm.
Okay.
Make sense now? This is the same one when you are trying with the not null, right? It is not working in the alter statement. So that I need to cross check why it is not working. Otherwise it will work or not. But other constraint, if you already define your table already, is the table definition is already ready. But after that, suppose you want to add a constraint, this is the syntax. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's add that and see the behavior of the unique. Add it. Okay. So this is one more, this is a good that this error came up. So the error what is saying that there is a already an object named uq underscore id in the database. So the constraint name always it will be unique. So I created in this database I was working for so long, right? So I given a unique constraint name with uq underscore id already. I given to in some other tables I given the constraint name already. Okay. So same constraint name we can't give in the same database one. It is never possible. Okay. It's good that it came up. So your constraint name always should be unique across the database. Okay. If you given uq underscore id, we can't give uq underscore id one more time. It is not possible. Okay. Make sense now? This is so we need to change the name of this.
It's in the same database or a different or it's in the
In the
different
same database. No, in the same database. If you are working on the same database, it will not allow. Different database it will work. It's fine.
okay.
There is no issue. Yeah. So I just giving a one here, then it will work. Okay. What happened? Syntax error here. Which syntax error here? Just give me a second, guys. I should not.
Yeah, I gave the same command, sir. It worked for me. This
Yeah,
one.
it worked, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that unique
It
ID, right? Just try
no,
that.
I now it worked now. Command complete successfully now for me also. Don't know. Wrong behavior something. Okay. So now it is connected. Command complete successfully for me. So this is the syntax to create your the constraint when all the create the table is already defined, and after that you are adding the constraint. Now try to insert some data here and we see the behavior of the unique. So you know the behavior of the not null. So now we'll see the behavior of unique, what will happen. Okay. So insert into this table, then say I say values. So one, what are the columns I took? ID, name and salary, right? Okay. So same thing I'm just repeating here. Let's take 2300. Okay. So if I insert this data, it will work out. Okay. So now if I say select select star from so one ABC. But now if you want to insert one more record without changing the ID, say XYZ and 3500. This time it will violate. It will say
Error.
unique constant is violated because it can't be insert the duplicate keys.
Mm.
And the name is coming, right? This one, UQ underscore ID1, which you are given. That's the violation of the column. Got it?
Yes.
But one thing, I think I missed one thing where I tripped a unique. Yeah, it will be not null in the sense it will take null. Okay, it will take null, but only once. I'll show you how. Okay, null once. Unique will be take null once and not duplicate. So if I insert this instead of the one, right, I say null. Okay. So if I insert the null here, it will take it. The unique will take the null. Okay. But execute it, and if you take this, it will be first will be null.
Mm.
But if you want to insert one more null here, try to insert one more null, and let's take this as def. Again, if you want to insert one more null here, right, it will violate because
Mm.
the duplicacy. Again, the duplicacy will come up. Okay,
Mm.
because null is already there, can't be another null here.
Mm.
Got it?
Yes.
So
Okay.
null is
So
also
this is
being
about
taken value here.
correct. Actually, null, I'll explain you what is null. So null is actually nothing. So whenever you don't know, null is not a blank, null is
Okay.
not a zero. Okay.
It's not
Null
a
is
blank.
something like is not a blank. It's not a blank. Null is not a blank. Never. Blank is blank only.
Uh,
Null is something like we don't know. We don't know, that is null. Okay. I'll
mm.
explain you, not now, but null is something that one. Null is
Okay.
we don't know certain value, that is null for me. Null is never a blank. Just put it that thought. Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Okay, sir.
Okay.
So,
So
so like
now,
if we don't, oh, sir, if we don't know anything, we don't fill any value in that.
so that
Like
is blank.
the,
If you
yeah,
not
but
fill
in
anything, that is
name,
blank. Go ahead. Sorry, I was asking.
okay, yeah. Then in name, we said when we are about to add null, we said
Hmm.
ID and salary, but we didn't say
Hmm.
the name. And that
Right.
time we gave only two values for ID and salary. We didn't give anything for name. It means
Which
it
one?
is not,
The previous one? The previous one?
yeah, the previous one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, correct. So it will not give anything we don't know. That is null. Yes, correct. That's correct.
that is
And
not
if you
blank.
give something with a space, something like that blank, no, that is called the space. That is the that is not null actually. So this is null. Yes, absolutely correct. Spot on.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. So the third constraint, we discussed the not null, we discussed the second one unique. The third one we will discuss about the check constraint. Okay. The check constraint is something like it will check some condition. Okay. And based on that it will create it. Okay. So let's create it again a table here. In a single table also you can do it, but I just want to explain you so that I'm just creating a sample tables only. Okay, so let's take demo 2. Okay, ID, name and salary. Okay, so in this time what I'll do is that I will do check here. Check constant. I can give a condition. Salary, okay, greater than, let's take 10,000. Okay, so this is the check salary greater than 10,000. So if you execute it now, what will happen is, yeah,
Mm.
now whenever you are inserting the data to this figure, right, inserting to this table name, so values, so 1, ABC, then I can say, let's take 12,000, right? So if I execute it, this will work,
Mm.
it will take you. But when I'm inserting a record which is less than 10,000, let's take on the salary column, I will give 5,000. Okay, so this
Mm.
time again the constraint will be getting violated. Okay,
Mm.
so something like this. So this is the check constraint it is doing here.
Mm.
Just let me expand it. Got it? So this is your check constraint. Any real-time examples you have for the check, or you have used so many times, but can you tell me where you will use this?
Like if condition.
No, no, I'm saying in real time, right? So we are using lots of applications and websites, everything, right?
Mm.
Anywhere you use this one, like some same kind of things.
Like it is great. And what if it is
Mm, like,
If you are
Pavan?
putting a password, right?
Yeah, pass.
mm,
Password, you are saying that this many length, this many characters, this is the things, right? And suppose you are putting application form, so there also some conditions will be there, right? This will be 10 characters, this will be this and all, right? So all
Mm.
these are the examples of the check. So it will check like in between this and this. So this is the condition for your check. Alright. Any questions?
So,
Okay. So now next constraint which I want to discuss is called the default. Default constraint. As the name suggests, it is a default constraint only, right? And it's not like one constraint only we need to define for one column. We can mix it also. Okay. Like one unique, one not null, something like that. That I will show you. But right now, let's discuss about your default constraint. So let me just copy this. So let's take demo 3. After, let's take salary is there. This column I will do a check here. After that, let's say salary underscore date. So I want to just maintain a salary date column for each employee. Hmm. So salary date is the same. It is a date, right? So the data type would be date here. It could be date. It could be date time also. Okay. So if you want to maintain the time along with that, then you need to say date time. Okay. And if you want to only store the date part of that, the data type would be date. Okay. Got it?
okay.
Yes.
And this along with the date, I can say it will be never a not null. So I can specify this. Okay, date, it will be not null. Then I will specify another constant which is called the default. We can mix also. Like for a single column, you can mix the constant also as per your requirement. Okay. So I'm saying that salary date it should not be null. Then I'm saying that default. What is the default value I want to say? So in SQL Server, right? So there is before doing that, I say select. There is a function called get date. Okay, select get date. If you execute this, it will give you the current date, current timestamp from your system. Whatever the timing you have in your, currently in your system, that value it will give. This is a default function in SQL Server. Okay. So
Mm.
this I'm trying to use as a default value inside my salary date. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what does it mean. So now let's create this table. Now for this column, if you see, I combined both the constraint, not null and default, both I combined here, right? So now if I try to insert here, insert and this part, sample demo 3 values, I say 1 from ABC, I say salary is, anyway, there is a check constraint, I know that, so I will insert based on that value. This I don't want to show you now, okay? And let's take on the salary date column, I say any dates. Let's take date, month, date in here. So let's take 8, okay, 01 2020. I just give it. And always whenever you are giving the dates, right, it should be always in the literals.
Okay.
So whenever you are putting the string also, it should be a single quote, and whenever you are entering the date also, it should be in a single literals only. Okay. Now if you insert this will take it. Okay. So now if I say select star from my tables. Okay. See, one more thing you need to always consider here is that whatever the format you are giving while inserting, it could be month, date, year, it could be date, month, year, doesn't matter. When once it is inserted to the table, right, always it will store in this format only. This is the default format of the SQL Server, which is year, month, and date. Okay,
One question here, Samir, like
but
whatever maybe like we have used a hyphen here, right? Sometimes there
hmm.
will be slash or dot or something, right? It will take any of the thing.
Uh, let let me check because other database too. I need to check for the SQL Server. Let me cross check.
Mhm.
Say 9. You are talking about like this, right?
Yes.
Something like this. Okay. I think it should take it. Hopefully, yeah, it will take it.
Okay.
But storing part is like this only. Insertion, it anyway whatever the format and you are inserting, but it will take year hyphen month hyphen date. This is the default behavior inside the table. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
Good question. Okay. Now this is now but the default. What is default here? So let's try to understand the default constant again. So what I'll do now is that instead of doing all these things, again another way to insert, right? To a specific columns, right? What is the syntax would be? Insert into my table name, then in the bracket I need to give the column name, right? For which I want to insert, right? So I say ID, name, comma, salary. So I will not insert the data for the salary date, but it is not null. Sorry, it should not be this one. Ah, this is wrong. This is wrong. Let me create a one more table. Not null. I think it should take it. Let me try. Let's see. Okay, so it will be like 3. Let's take DEF. Okay. Let's take 3450. Insert this. ID name and salary. Yeah. Let's execute this. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Check constant is violating. 14,000. So now try to insert. Yeah. One row got affected, right? For the I didn't give any data for the salary date, and I'm saying it is not null. But since I have given another constraint called the default, so default is get date. What does it mean is that whenever you are inserting the records to salary date, it will take that like this. Whatever you given, take it. If you are not giving any record to this salary date, then it will take the default as the current date. Okay. Now, if you
Mm.
see the last record, the third number of record, if you see third DEF, what the data it took? It took today's date only, right?
Today's.
2023-01. My system timestamp. Okay.
Mm.
So this is the uh, behavior of the default constraint. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So there will be another function with default, because in real time it won't be like a salary date will be our current date.
No, no, no. It's not. It's not a real-time example. I'm just giving an example that how the default will work. Okay?
So okay, we have other function with default
So I
also.
can give an example of a default is that suppose you joined a company. Okay. So
Mm.
on the first day, you are not aligned to any project or which team we will go. That is not decided on the first day. Okay. So on the first day when you are joining, your email ID was created, everything. Then we will, the employee will be assigned to a default team. That is called the, I can say the demo team or any kind of pool team or something like that. Each company have one team will be there. So that is a default team. Everybody will be on the same team. Okay, unless until you are going to a separate team. So that is called a uh, example of a default. Okay, sense.
Oh, okay.
This makes sense, or what I can say?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
So
good.
in this in the default, it is if it is the salary date, we are giving get date, right? So if we
Hmm.
are giving some other data like with
Hmm.
it's not date, then what we should give in that instead of this get date, what we should give.
Instead of the get date, you are saying if you don't want to give
Yes.
the current timestamp, okay. So you can say directly this. Anything you can specify here, something like this.
No, no. If you are using the salary date, it's a date. That's why we are using get date, right?
Correct.
So if we want to use default in some other kind of
Okay.
what
Okay. So that time it need to give it the based on the data type. Suppose salary column. After the check, you want to give a default value here. So something like that, you can say default. Then you can say something any value like this.
oh,
Based on the data type. Suppose for the name, I want to give a default. So I will say default. I need to say DEF, something like that. So based on your data
data
type,
type.
we need to
Okay.
give the default.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on the default?
Sir,
So we have discussed. Go ahead.
one more question. This date, right, while giving default, is there a way that we can format this date type of display? Right now we are
Yes, we
using.
can. Yeah, we can do that, but not now. When we will
Okay,
discuss about the date function, that time, yes, we can do that.
okay, 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 sir.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions on what are the constraints we discussed? Not null, unique,
Unique.
check, default. Right? Any questions on these four? Or you are good?
Good, sir.
You are good, right? Okay. Now, before jumping into the another two constraints, right, which is quite important when you are working on a real time, that is primary key and foreign key. But before jumping to that, I'm just giving another thing. So when you are installing your SQL Server, right? So there is a table already, okay? That is underscore. If you go to any database, right? So inside the schema, there will be a schema called information underscore schema. On each database, it will be there. Wherever your database created, how I went inside the database, go to the securities, then inside the schemas, there is a schema already created called information underscore schema. That is the default when you install the SQL Server. So I'm using that schema, say information underscore schema, okay, dot. Then there are multiple tables it contains, okay. So here n number of tables are there, and if you want to just leverage this information, this is a self-learning one. But one table which I want to concentrate, that is called the table underscore constraint. Okay, information schema dot table underscore constraint. So this table actually holds all the constraints whichever you define on the database, irrespective of the tables. Okay, all the table, all the constraint, it will be captured inside this table. This is a system defined table. Okay, so if you just execute it, it will give you lots hell number of columns. Let me expand this. So it will be the constraint catalog, constraint schema, constraint names, which table, all this information will be available. So this is the table name. Okay. And if you want to more specific, suppose you want to see what are the constraints available for my table, I can say put a where condition here. Where table underscore name equals to your table name, whatever you have. Okay. Suppose in this case, simple const demo 3. Right. This is my table. So I need to be specific on this table now. Now, if you execute, I can get some information here. Okay. So this is the check constraint we have just created on this, right? So just this is showing it. Constraint type is check. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the table which hold all the constraint.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hmm. So this is about that. And the last two constraint which is there, which is called your primary key and your foreign key. Okay. This is actually why I'm putting both in a one slot, because though these two are complement each other. Okay. So that we'll discuss in a short span of time. But before to that, I just want to show you something. Just give me a second. Let me stop it for a second, and then I will show you. Okay. So one second. Yeah, my screen is still visible. Hopefully, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I told you now that there is a table which is nothing but this table. Let's start from my sales order table. So this table have around 10,000 rows, right? So this is the data is captured from an Excel file. So what I need, everybody needs to create this table on your system. How to do that? So I have an Excel file for this. Okay. So how to import an Excel data into your database? The step would be, just carefully observe that. So once you enter to the database, right? So this is my database name, right? Select it, right click on this, tasks, okay,
Good.
import data, okay. Again, I'm repeating, right click on the database, task, import data. Clear? First point is clear.
Sir.
Now, next. Click on the next. And in this is the choose the data source. You're seeing that, right? The first step from where we want to get the data. So just click on the drop down and select the Microsoft Excel. Okay. Then browse and select the file. This file I will tell you like where it is there, but you can take that and you just download and put it into your folder anywhere you want and just point that. Okay. Make sense now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then click on the next. Nothing needs to be changed here. Next. And this is your destination. So the first is source. You select the Excel. Second one is the destination where you want to insert. So I want to insert in my database only, right? So I will select the last option, which is SQL Server Native Client 11.0. This the one. Okay. Then automatically the server name will come up. Okay. And we can choose the database also. Suppose you don't want to insert to the SQL demo. Let me put it into another database where it is not there. Let me go to the sample 2 because I already have this data into this. So let me insert in the sample table. Okay, if you can do that. Okay. Otherwise, let me do in the SQL demo itself with a different name. I will take it. Okay. And then after that, I will delete it. SQL demo. Then next. This part is clear.
Yes.
Please use username. Okay. Authentication.
Username will be authentication will be the Windows authentication only. How you are logging to the SQL server? User ID password or it is taking the default name from your laptop?
Windows
How it is
authentication.
taking? Windows authentication, right? So there are two. Let me explain again. This is a good question actually. In SQL Server, there are two authentication actually. So one is Windows authentication. Second one is the SQL Server authentication. So in a real time, sometimes SQL Server will come up with any kind of authentication. Okay. So Windows authentication means is that suppose you are logged into the system on your laptop, right? You are giving some user ID and password and login, right? So that user ID and password is linked to the SQL Server connection as well. So it will not take any extra or other credential to authenticate yourself to log into the system. That is called the Windows authentication. And SQL Server authentication means your login ID and your user ID password to log into the database are different. So that time that is called the SQL Server authentication. But anyway, we are just going to Windows authentication. And if you click on this, it will ask you the username and password. Okay. Okay. So now next, click on the next. Okay. Nothing needs to be done in this. Simply click on the next. Okay. Then from this, select the first one. First one. There is two orders are there. Select the first one. I'm saying. Okay. Select the first one. And here it is taking orders, right? Just click on that cross mark and give a name here. Careful, just name, give a name. Okay. I already have a sales order, so I can give you can give any name. It's not compulsory that you need to give sales order. Okay. Sales order one. Let's see. Order one. Okay. I'm just giving a name called sales order one. Now next, nothing need to be done here. Run immediately. Next and finish. Okay. Once everything is successful, it should give a warning to you that 99994 rows transfer. So this is the indication that everything is success. You're doing success here. Close and just refresh this, and there could be a table called sales order one. See, now if we say sales underscore order one, okay, this will be work out. Okay, so this is the way you can import in Excel table, Excel information to the database, and we can work on that. Okay,
I have a question here, Samir.
please,
So
please.
whenever I run this query in my laptop, the row ID starts from 7,000 something. Like if, for you it shows right the row ID from 1 2 3, right? Always
Hmm.
I get it from 7,000 something like that. Always it starts, yeah, right from the first one is,
Okay,
and the row ID 1 2, or I can see them when I scroll down. So do you have any idea why
so
it is?
how is the data in your SQL server? Sorry, in your Excel file?
The data is organized as from 1 to 2, 1 2 3, etc.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Also, sometimes when I try to execute the query, it says that
Hmm.
the table name is not recognized. So when I right click on the dbo dot table name, right?
Okay. That I can explain. No, the other one I don't know. I need to look at your the Excel file. The other
Uh-huh.
one I can directly tell you. So the problem is what happen is sometime. Okay, before I'll come to that answer. So before to that, I
Okay.
just want to tell you one more thing here. See, sales order table is already there, but there is a underline is coming right for me, red colors, right?
Yes.
If you see. So sometimes you think like this is an error. No, it's not an error sometimes. It's not like all the underlines are error. But if you execute it is working, right? There is no issue and the table you are giving the output. Sometimes what happens is when you refresh your database, you're refreshing, right? Still, sometimes the local cache is not refreshed. So it is not identifying till this as a table inside your database object. So for that, we can do one thing. Whenever you created the table, click on the edit. Okay, there is a IntelliSense is there. Refresh the local cache. Okay, this one. Or either you can create a shortcut, Control Shift R.
Okay.
Control Shift R. So if you click on this, right, automatically this underline will goes out and the refresh will cache out. There is no error here. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but it's
So
not applied for the actual error. Actual error only. Okay.
yeah. So here the table name is not table doesn't exist or something kind of errors will come. And when I right click on that dbo dot
Hmm,
table name, and there will
hmm.
be default query, right? Select the top
Yeah.
1,000 rows or something.
Right,
When I
right, right,
execute
right.
that, yeah,
That is working.
it will show as SQL demo dot dbo dot orders. Like what is the table name?
Right.
If I
I
execute that,
think
it will execute.
I'll tell you what this is. I think the problem. So whenever you create the table, right, something like this. So let's take how you given. What is the table name for you? Can you tell me?
Orders.
Okay, orders. Hmm. The only orders.
Yeah, the sales order we have, right?
Hmm.
Work with
Hmm.
every day. That table I
Hmm.
have named it as orders.
Only this many table. Can you show me once this is on your screen
Yeah,
share?
sure. Yeah, sure.
Who I need to sorry whom I need to give the rights to? Shaileja, you?
Vali.
Bali. Okay. Just give me a second. I will make you a presenter. Just give me a second. Yeah, go ahead and share your
Yeah.
screen.
So I'm
I just
trying.
want to see that.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
are you able to see my screen, my SQL
Yeah,
screen?
yeah. No,
Yeah.
no. Not SQL screen, only the go-to meeting screen I'm able to see.
Yeah. 1 second. SQL screen. not able to find that. Yes, yeah. So are you able to see?
Yeah, yeah, I'm able to see. Go ahead.
So see here, this is the employee table we have, right? Select star
Mm-hmm.
from EMP. If I execute this, it will
Mm-hmm.
show the same error. So
Again,
invalid
you stop.
object name EMP.
You stop. You stop the share.
I start. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not able to see.
Oh, it is.
Other others, can you able to see the screen?
No, sir. Now we can
Yeah,
able to.
yeah. Now you can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, look at the error. Invalid object name EMP it shows, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if I give us SQL demo
Mm-hmm.
dot
Mm-hmm.
dbo dot
Mm-hmm.
emp, it will work.
So, have you once again you stop the Bali the screen share?
Oh my God, what happened?
Um, Samir, that could be might be like she was in master table, right? She has to select that SQL demo
Yeah, correct. That's
in that
correct. Can you show
drop
the
down.
upper screen for me? Can you just scroll up bit, Bali?
Yeah,
No, show me the this one, the database. Yeah, that's correct. So you are on the master database. If you see on the top right, there is a drop down is there. No, no, no. On the toolbar,
toolbar.
go top little. That below. Go below little bit. Below. Yeah, left side.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
to
okay.
execute. Yeah. So you
Oh,
need to select your database, right? Which database you want. You are in the master
oh,
and you are
okay.
accessing the SQL demo. So it is asking the qualifier names there. Yes, that's good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it now. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
good,
I was
good catch,
executing like
Shailaja.
this every time, like go on and right click and execute that select top 1,000 rows, then it will go. Then I will always go
Uh-huh.
like this.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay.
Thanks, Amir. Yeah.
Thanks. No
Thanks,
problem. Thanks,
Shailaja.
Shailaja.
Yeah.
Good catch, good catch. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll stop sharing.
sure. Yeah, that's a good one actually for everybody. Let me do that. What exactly he is trying to do that is that let's take you have created a table inside your SQL demo, right? This is my database and I'm executing this. So I'm getting it. Suppose let's take you move it to another database, any database. Okay. Let's take I move it to let's take any database called the department. So I click on this new query. So I am right now on the department table and if I want to execute select star from the sales order, will that work? Will not work, right? Because I am on a different database itself. So that time I need to give the data name, this name, dot the object, then the data, the table name. So then only it will work out. Okay. So make sure whenever you log into the database, right click on the database which you are planning to work. Okay. Let me open this. Right click on this database, whichever database you are planning to work. Right click on that and put a new query so that you are inside the database only, then you can execute the statements. Okay, it makes sense for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, this is a best practice. Okay, so the last part very small because primary key foreign key I will take it in the tomorrow class because it will take some understanding for that. So before to that, uh, here in my sales order table, right, if I execute this, what happened to my sales order now? It's not sales, it's just a sales order. Okay. So here, if you take an example of some cities, right? I have some knowledge. Let me open one second. Don't look at the syntax here right now. I'll explain you. Let me check whether I have any. Yeah. So here, okay. So here actually, I have a couple of cities, right? I make it as a null. So what I did it actually that time is that. So you can also do it because defaultly there will be no nulls here actually on the city column. So you can create an update statement. Okay. Update in the sense you got the select, you got the create, you got the alter. Okay. Any questions on that? I don't think so, right? So update is another is that suppose you have the data and if you want to update something on the top of that, so that is called your update. So how to write the update? Update, okay. Then you can say the table name, sales order, okay. Then what you want to update? So I say set city equals to null, okay. If I execute now this, no, what will happen is for every column of the city, where is the city column? Yeah. For every row of the city, it will be converted and it will give you null. Don't execute this directly. Update, table name, set, column name equals to null. Okay. Then what will happen is it will automatically updated everything to the null. Okay. Make sense? Hello. You guys are there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Mm-hmm.
But
No, sir.
suppose you want to be specific. Suppose city equals to null, I can say where.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's take order ID equals to this one. Let's take this guy. Then what will happen is I will be not, I'm setting the city equals to null for this particular record. And others will be remain same. This is called your update statement. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what you will
sir.
do when you uploaded this data now, take some order ID and make it as a null for the city. Like order ID equals to this or this. Take one or two order ID and make the city as null by executing this statement. Okay. Then suppose after that, why I have done it is like that. Suppose now you know that the city contains the null, but normally suppose you want to retrieve the null records, right? The
Mm-hmm.
intention behind that is we can say that select star from the sales order where city equals to null. Basically, this is the way we will write the our select statement, right? Where city equals to null or a city equals to this or order date equals to this, something like that you can provide, right? Or in operator, whatever may be. But this is the way. But in case of null, if you executed this, it will not give you any records because null is never compared with anything. Null is not zero, null is not a record, null even not compared with null itself also. If I say null equals to null, it is false. Okay, so that's why it is not exactly it is saying city equals to null is nothing. So for that we have a specific statement in SQL Server to get the null records. So instead of the equals to, you can say city is null. Okay, then I can say if I executed that, then I will get wherever the city is null. Okay, so this is the statement we need to put is null, or even we can put is not null also. You can put means whichever is their part is not null, that city also will come up. So all the records except the three records which is there as a null. So this is the one is null. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this is the one. And I think we are done for the today's, and I will discuss the primary key and foreign key tomorrow classes, and we'll wrap it up the constants. So any questions or anything? One more thing, I just want to, I will keep that GitHub link. Okay, there will this file will be there. This sales data, right, which I imported. There, that file got imported in the one in the Excel format, one in the CSV format. But don't take the CSV format, because since you are working on the SQL server, take the Excel format, download it, and import this data into your SQL database, whichever database is you are working. And I think you can take assignment number 1. So couple of questions will be there. You can take that question if you want, but don't look at the solution, but you can take the assignment number 1. And if you have any doubts on the questions, very basic select statement will be there. If you have any doubt on that part, ask me now. Will that work?
So you will share
Yeah,
the
I'll
PDF.
ping you. Yeah, I'll ping the GitHub link after the class. Just go there and download everything. Okay.
Sir, you'll have that CSV file because I have an issue with my Excel right now. So if CSV is there, it will be fine for me to convert this. You have
I
CSV
don't know
for.
the yeah, but I don't know the CSV will work in case of SQL Server, but let you can try it out. I'm fine.
Actually, I have tried once, sir. It worked on like with CSV. Just
Okay,
imported as a flat, worked out.
okay,
So
sure.
I
So,
would try.
mhm, sure.
Okay, sir.
So I'm saying that in that link, right, there are two versions. One is the
Okay,
CSV, one is the Excel. Okay.
okay,
So,
okay,
but
sir.
I'm saying the majority is don't take the CSV, take the Excel and
Mm,
import it. If
okay,
anybody
okay,
having issue with the Excel, just take the CSV version. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, and take the assignment number 1. I will give the name of the file, assignment number 1. There are some questions will be there. Just
Mm-hmm.
do it on your own. And tomorrow you can ask me any questions you have on that part. Okay?
Okay, okay, sir.
Sure. That
Okay, sir.
works. I think I can stop the recording now.